Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast through until Sunday. Let's kick off with the lightning map and the satellite loop. So not a lot of activity around Australia today, but the main energy is to the south here, south of Adelaide, bit of low pressure and a cold front. Seeing a bit of wet weather pushing into parts of Victoria, mostly coastal to the south here, and of course coming into Tasmania. Most of the blue that you see here, it means that the clouds have built up a bit. High cloud in a lot of cases, not necessarily producing a lot of rain just yet, but we do see this disturbance in the Tasman Sea, and that is going to help drive in some wet weather as it drifts southwards over the days ahead. And the other area where we're seeing energy, maybe not so much of it right now as we record this, but there are several cold fronts coming into the southern half of Western Australia, especially the southern third. And we're going to be seeing that in Western Australia over the next week or so, or two, as a number of cold fronts come in, bringing rain for you. And temperature drops as well. It's called a cold front for a reason. So let's have a look at the situation. High pressure dominates the map at the moment. That's why it's pretty quiet over in Western Australia, but you can see a bit of wind out to sea as that system approaches. But most of the windy weather is in South Australia, Victoria, Tasmania, caught up in that large low, and that's the one driving in that weak cold front as it moves across. Although it does bring hit and miss areas of rain relief again, but it's maybe not as widespread as the rain that we saw the other day. And certainly dry at the moment along the eastern side here, but that wet weather to the north is going to drift down over the days ahead, and at the same time you got the Southern Ocean storms down here brushing by and bringing some weather. So there's a Queensland to sort of New South Wales, southern Queensland going into New South Wales for now is settled, but we are going to see some changes there. So this is the look of the situation as we go through Tuesday PM. High pressure in control over the top of South Australia, but it's showery, as you often get at this time of the year. High pressure can have little showers stuck underneath it. So we are going to be seeing some of that coming through into South Australia, into Adelaide. Most of that is today and tonight, should start to ease going through Tuesday, and it all moves eastwards. So the blue line here, that indicates the polar airflow coming through. So Tasmania underneath the polar southerly as we go through Tuesday, with some heavier rainfall in the north and the west of the island. Some of that brushes through here into Victoria, right over the top of Melbourne, or just south of it. We're seeing that blue line there. So definitely colder weather coming through into Victoria as that cold front moves through, but it doesn't really come into New South Wales very much. The southerlies carry on, but not necessarily too bad for most places, and sunny or dry for a large part of New South Wales. But you see the rain up here to the north of Queensland, that is drifting southwards. Bit of instability there over the days ahead. And then we jump over to the other side, south of Perth. There is the next cold front coming through with some decent rain. Most of it is out at sea here for Tuesday, but that is arriving. And you've got the warm northerlies ahead of it, lifting up the temperatures. Inland areas, not much going on. The top end's pretty quiet, so is the Pilbara and the Kimberley regions. So going through to Wednesday, the cold front comes in here from Geraldton southwards. In comes that rain, thunderstorms, showers, all of that moving on in. Further inland, of course, it's dry with the north to northwesterly winds, and they're now moving into South Australia. So your temperatures will start to go up. Over here on the southeastern side, your temperatures start to go down. High pressure locks in the colder southerly, the winds disappear, your overnight temperatures really start to drop. Canberra, -3, -4 when you wake up on Wednesday morning, and it'll be similar low temperatures around a large area, although it fades out as you go further up into New South Wales, further northwards. And that is because the easterly wind kicks back in here again. So places like Toowoomba, for example, not looking like you're going down into the frost territory so much because of the easterlies, and that drives in this showery weather, or for some kind of patchy rain. Patchy rain just sort of covers a larger area and lasts longer than a shower does. But the offshore system is still offshore. So as we go through to Thursday, it is not quite as organised as we saw yesterday with the low, as we said last week, with the low spinning out there over the Coral Sea. But it is still an area of low pressure, and that's driving in this rain or shower activity. Check your local forecast to kind of work out more of that. A little bit comes into New South Wales, a couple of coastal showers around. Otherwise, high pressure in charge of Victoria, the A.C.T and New South Wales, and that high pressure extends all the way back through Alice Springs and out towards Western Australia. Without a lot of energy further to the west here, you're just seeing some showers around. Now, they could be thundery, but there's not a lot of major energy going on westerly winds coming off the Indian Ocean. So going into the weekend, here comes the next cold front. So like I say, several of them are on the way for the southwest of Western Australia. Plenty of showers around from, Carnarvon southwards, but they are not necessarily very much. But we do see those showers coming through. Most of them are south of Bunbury in here in the southwest corner, where you're seeing some totals, maybe 30 or 40 millimetres coming through on Friday. As the high exits the southeast corner of Australia, that means plenty of easterlies from Sydney northwards, well north of Sydney. Sydney's in a calm zone, but you go from sort of Newcastle, Port Macquarie northwards, easterly winds coming through right across Queensland, New South Wales. They curve around as a northerly for South Australia and Western Australia ahead of the cold front. So mild weather returns to a number of areas. Still cold nights though over there in the southeast, and Tasmania, northwesterly winds, mostly dry for you. Let's go through to Saturday now. So again, all the energy out here in the southwest corner. Plenty of wet weather coming through. Those rainfall totals in the 30, 40 millimetre mark again for a number of those places. And the blue line shows the colder airflow coming right in. Kalgoorlie will be feeling that as your temperatures start to go down. And of course, warm plus cold equals thunderstorms. So we may see a few heavy falls as that moves on through. So South Australia is on the warm, dry, windier, north to northwesterly setup. The southern half of Western Australia has the cold front and the temperature drop as we go into the weekend. And up in the top end, again, it's pretty dry for you. Same story for the Kimberley and the Pilbara regions. Not a lot of energy going on over there. And a slightly milder northerly flow comes through into the southeast, including Canberra. You might notice the overnight temperatures aren't quite as bad going into the weekend. I say bad in the sense of low. Not necessarily a bad thing. I love cold nights, so it doesn't worry me. Give me a frost any day of the week. Let's go into Sunday now. So again, another cold surge into the southwest. More wintry showers. Places like Albany really getting a temperature drop, plenty of showers, and those showers remain fairly coastal. Right around Western Australia, they drop off again from about south of Geraldton. You'll be seeing those showers tapering off. North of Geraldton, I should say. Now, north of there, the easterly winds carry on. They might tilt a little more southeast, coming around the next big high out of the Indian Ocean. On the east coast, that low is not really showing up as anything at all, but we do see this large area of lower pressure around Vanuatu and New Caledonia. That means east to southeast winds carry on for much of Queensland, and they curve around as a north to northwesterly wind. So Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, Hobart all have northwesterly winds developing on Sunday. Windier in some places, lighter in others, and that will help lift up the temperatures. But once more, it is South Australia getting another burst of wet weather, although the rainfall totals aren't very great at the lower end of the scale. So fingers crossed, if you need some rain, you get one of those sort of heavy downpours that are associated with a cold front like that one. So here is the rainfall through to Sunday. Not huge amounts around the nation. Queensland has some of the highest totals, mostly around the Cairns, Townsville area and further northwards. Further south of that, as we said the other day, borderline, most of those showers are coastal and won't be very much. A fairly dry week coming all the way down into Victoria. Now, Victoria is a little messy. You do see some heavier falls here and there, but it won't be very much by the looks of it, unless you're lucky enough to get a thunderstorm that sits over the top of you. Northern and western sides of Tassie get some of the wet weather. Coastal parts of South Australia, but most of that rain, Perth to Albany, that's where we're seeing it in Western Australia, and those totals could be anywhere between 40 and maybe even getting closer to 80 millimetres. So that'll be very welcome for some areas that have not had a huge amount of rain lately. Before I go, a bit of self-promotion. I said in my other video, my business partner Sean said I had to do it. So promoting it. So a big thank you to Ravensdown and the Guild in New Zealand for the New Zealand Agricultural Communicator of the Year Award. It was I was sideblinded by it. I didn't enter it. I was nominated by other people. I promote this to you because we're new to Australia. We've only been around a couple of years. We've got a big focus on the rural parts, those that are growing our food and those that are providing assistance to the rural community. That's a huge focus on what we do. You guys care about the weather a lot, and so it's a great honour to have that. And it's just wanted to share that with our Australian viewers because we are hoping to focus more and more on our Australian rural audience. And as a byproduct of that, it makes lots of cool stuff for the townies, the people who live in the cities. We've got extra stuff for you. So we're working on a plan to get into Australia a bit more. But I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. What an honour it was to win that award. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back again on Thursday with our next Australia-only weather update.